Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Samantha Hildebrandt. I am a type 1 diabetic as of February 18th, 2021, and today I want to talk about Barbie. So let's get into it. So, Barbie recently came out with a type 1 diabetic doll, which is absolutely amazing. They partnered with Breakthrough T1D to create this doll for awareness of type 1 diabetes. And really, I just love it because all of the little girls out there who live with type 1 diabetes now have a doll that looks just like them, which is absolutely amazing. However, of course, a lot of news channels posted about Barbie coming out with a type 1 diabetes doll, and there were some pretty negative and depressing comments on the posts. E! News posted about it, Breakthrough T1D posted about it, People posted about it, like all these news channels, and a lot of ignorant people commented on the post. The comments said things like, oh, shouldn't she be overly large and in charge? Shouldn't she be overweight? Why are we promoting this type of lifestyle? Why are we promoting this type of eating? Oh, like diabetes is not a good thing. We shouldn't be promoting this. I mean, a lot of honestly like fat jokes were on the comments and about how it's such a bad lifestyle that we're all living, us with type 1 diabetes and so on and so forth. And sometimes I look at these comments and I actually just laugh because I'm like, okay, you guys clearly do not understand what type 1 diabetes is. And, I honestly, I try not to get mad because before I was diagnosed, I did not know what type 1 diabetes was. However, I was also not commenting on posts like this saying rude things along the lines of, she should be fat. She shouldn't eat like that. That's not the lifestyle I live. Like I would never say that. And so there's a level, right? There's an understanding that needs to happen where like us as type 1 diabetics can't expect other people to know what type 1 diabetes is. It's a very complicated disease. And the only people that actually even really know anything about type 1 are people that live with type 1 and maybe their close family members if you're a caretaker of somebody with type 1. But other than that, nobody else knows what type 1 diabetes is. Even if they think they know, they actually don't. And so we have to accept the fact that people don't know what type 1 diabetes is. And we have to accept the fact that they're never really going to know unless they themselves or someone in their family gets diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. Now, there is still a level of education that people should know about type 1 diabetes and the differences between the diabetes types. Type 1, type 2, gestational, there's MODY. I feel like there's so many different ones now. But really, the only ones that I want to decipher from is type 1, type 2, and maybe gestational, because those are the three most common types of diabetes. And it's just really frustrating when you read comments like this. And first off, just like people can be so rude and it's kind of wild. How do people get joy out of being this rude? Like, I really don't understand. People just love to hide on the internet, say their comments, but they're also the type of people, they will not say it to your face. And sometimes I wish they would because, yes, we'll just leave that there. Some of the things that I would do probably to someone that said a rude comment to me would not be fun. So, anyway, people love to say things on the internet that they'd never say out loud. They love to, I don't know if they're like trying to be funny or I don't know. Clearly, they're just uneducated, ignorant people that don't know anything about type 1 diabetes. But these are the moments that us type 1 diabetics need to use to educate the world on what type 1 diabetes is. I mean, I would assume most people don't even know that it's an autoimmune condition, right? Because type 2 is more of a lifestyle disease, where type 1 is strictly autoimmune, as in us living with type 1 diabetes, we don't have any control over anything that we go through every single day. In terms of diagnosis, like we didn't do this to ourselves. It's not because we ate all this crap and we didn't exercise and blah, 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 blah. Like that's not how you get type 1 diabetes. But once again, you have to remember people may not know that. And that's, I don't want to say that's like not necessarily their fault, but it's not like they have no reason to learn about what type 1 diabetes is if they don't have any association with it at all. And so this is our opportunity to share it with them and share it with the world. And yes, like the internet is such a great place to get the word out quickly, like to a lot of people at once, but we also need to do it in person. So if anybody ever comes up to you and says something like that to you in person, which I know people have experienced that quite a bit before, I think the first thing we need to remember is to stay calm because naturally our reaction is to probably want to punch them in the face because usually the comments are not nice and you just get very angry. But we have to remember to stay calm, breathe, and then educate them, right? The perfect opportunity to educate and be like, actually, so on and so forth. For example, I'll never forget this moment. When I was first diagnosed, I went to a brewery with my friends and I was drinking a beer and my blood sugar naturally like shot up to like 220 or something, as you all know how that works. And I was with a guy who he was actually my friend's boyfriend who I just recently met. And he said he's a nurse and he works in like the ER. And he said, "Whoa, Samantha, you really got to get that diabetes under control. That stuff is bad news. That 220 is way too high." And I remember like wanting to break down and cry because I was still so new to diabetes. So, like, obviously, I had no idea what was even going on a daily basis with my diabetes. I mean, like, yeah, that first year is just crazy. You're learning so many things at once and just trying to figure out how to even live this new life. And then you have somebody next to you basically criticizing you and your actions and your decisions. And I did want to punch him in the face because I was so upset that like it's almost like I knew he was right. Like, yes, you're right. I need to get my diabetes under control. But I was also so mad because he doesn't live with diabetes. And so he was just giving me like his educated information that he learned back in college. And I'm like, okay, dude, you have no clue what it's like to live with diabetes. And so comments like this come up all the time. And it happens when we're least expecting it. So remaining calm is very, very important. So you don't actually punch somebody in the face. But two is educate. So in that opportunity, I wish I could have explained to him what it actually means to live with type 1 diabetes and that it's very hard to control your blood sugar. It's not that easy. We don't have that ceiling, right, where it stops at 140 like the rest of everybody in the world, but ours just goes wild. It will just keep going up. There's no ceiling. And he clearly did not know that. He clearly didn't understand the differences between type 1, type 2. He didn't know. But that was such an ignorant comment for him to even say out loud because he was wrong. And so, it's just like one of those things where we are going to run into this all the time. And we can be so thankful that things like Barbie came out because that's so amazing. And it makes my day thinking about the little girl that's getting this Barbie that looks like her. It's just the most amazing thing. And I'm just so happy that this was even created. And I'm so happy that Barbie stood up and actually took action on this. So, so amazing. And I can't wait to get one myself, but I'm leaving them for the girls that are under the age of 15 that really want a Barbie because they deserve it more than me. I'm 33 years old, so I don't need a Barbie just yet. But when there's some extras, I will be grabbing one. And so really, I just wanted to jump on here and kind of share my thoughts on this whole Barbie thing because we live with this disease, this terrible, terrible disease, and it's not fun to live with at all. Like, I mean, it's one of those diseases that we think about nonstop. I mean, and I'm talking nonstop. Even when we're sleeping, we are thinking about our diabetes, and nobody gets that. And it's really frustrating that people don't understand that we are literally constantly thinking about our blood sugar. And people don't get it because they never think about their blood sugar. Do you know what I mean? Like they never once throughout the day are thinking about blood sugar. And they may think they are because it's like a trend right now to talk about blood sugar through on Instagram. I feel like I see blood sugar stuff all the time, but which also makes me laugh, by the way, because I'm like, they talk about a spike when their blood sugar goes to 120. And I'm like, that ain't no spike. Okay. That's like a dream blood sugar. And so people that don't think about blood sugar all the time just naturally think like, oh, it's such a bad thing if our blood sugar is going high, which technically they're not wrong. Like it still affects our health, but they don't know what we go through to control our blood sugar day in and day out. And they don't get that it's an autoimmune condition, that we didn't do it to ourselves. They don't get that it affects everything we do. Like if I just took insulin, I can't go work out. I can't go for a run because my blood sugar will just drop. Like they don't have to worry about that stuff. I also don't think they don't realize how blessed they are that their pancreas works. And I say that lightly because there's things that I have that I'm blessed with, right? Like I have legs, I can walk. That is something that I'm blessed with. I'm sure somebody that's in a wheelchair that can't walk looks at me and thinks that like she has no idea how blessed she is. And I am very blessed. I'm so happy I can even go for a run, right? But type 1 diabetes is another one of those things that's like they don't even know. They can just go eat food and not even think about it, where we have to plan and prepare and we eat. And then afterwards, we have to like fix the blood sugar. And then we have to figure out what's going to happen with the next meal. And then it's just a whole thing. And so I wanted to come on here, share my thoughts about Barbie, but also just say you are doing amazing. If you live with diabetes, you are a rock star. I know how hard you work every single day. I know how hard it is to eat something you want to eat, see your blood sugar go up to 250, don't even know why it's going up to 250, then like trying to figure out how to bring it back down. Your mind is constantly thinking about your diabetes. You can't enjoy the event that you're at because you're thinking about your diabetes. Like, I see you. I see you. I feel your pain. I feel the stress you go through day in and day out. I understand what you do every day. I understand. You deserve this Barbie doll, okay? You deserve it. We deserve more than just a Barbie doll, but you deserve it. You deserve the press. You deserve the love. You deserve it all. So that is my rant about Barbie. Let me know what you guys think about Barbie in the comments that people just had on the Barbie. I will see you guys next week, maybe with another rant. We'll see. All right, guys. Bye.